Yeah, this is very true, very insightful, and thank you for sharing that. So, hard work, do what you say you're going to do, and having a spouse partner on the same page.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't have to tell you how many people in our business, um, they may be successful financially, but their family lives are ruined, right? A
right.
lot of times it's because they get, once that money starts really coming in, they get overzealous, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
start living that life, that high life, right?
Right.
Um, a lot of them, it's the spouse couldn't handle, not, the other one not being home, or lack of that other individual time for the family, right? So it's a tough life. It's not a life I recommend for everyone, but like I said, in my personality, I hate to lose. So there's nothing I'm going to do that I'm not going to pull. I'm not going to give it 100%
Right.
because I'm a real sore loser. So
Well, being competitive, I think, is good. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So the one of the other things I'm picking up here, and this is one I talk about, but it was given to me, and I think I overlooked it often. And one of my mentors, a handful of years ago, also mentioned sacrifice, the sacrifice that sometimes you have to make to be successful. And that's working those hours. That's not being home at 6 for dinner, watching the 11 o'clock news. That's out there grinding and making it happen. But, I look at it years later, like I look at you and I'm listening to your story about how the sacrifice also of not taking those short wins that you could have flipped these properties, put it in your pocket, went and bought that Ferrari, Lamborghini, whatever it
right,
is.
right.
No one would have blamed you, and you could have lived, you know, uh, I don't mean any disrespect to the people out there driving the Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all that stuff. It's just a different road
It,
that
it
you're
is, and I
on.
and more power to you if that's what you do, if that's what you're happy doing. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying what worked for me was living below my means and having a spouse that understood that, right, and wasn't angry when I would say, yeah, we have all this money in the bank, but we're not spending it on new lawn furniture. I'm not going to spend it on a new vehicle.
Well,
This is for my
well,
next investment.
in doing so, though, when we saw hard times like 2008, 9, because you weren't over leveraged, you weathered that storm better than most.
John, I got to tell you, I kind of saw it coming towards the end of 2006. There were things that were happening that just didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And I'm not going to kid you, I'm starting to see the same patterns again,
right.
especially when it comes to the builder side, and what they're doing as far as how they're releasing their lots, and but the point and the lack of labor. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm starting to see all those same patterns again, and as a result, I'm not going to kid you, we got rid of about 50% of our inventory. Um, Not on the long term holds in New York, on the long term holds in certain parts of Jersey and in Central Florida. So in Central Florida, I own a lot of condos. I love the
Okay.
condo business. It's a niche where not a lot of investors go into, so it's less competition. And we've figured out a way how to really vet the HOAs. So we really do well with that. The other thing we do is buy a lot of land. So when things are bad, where people go buy gold and silver, I buy dirt. And if I sit on it for 10 years, I don't care because then I, I usually, we usually make about 300% return on that.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess what I'm saying is, familiarize yourself and make sure that the only thing the biggest thing I could tell people is, um, watch John, watch myself, learn from John, watch from people, and people like himself. As you're learning, simultaneously save money because those opportunities are going to come. And if you don't, you may recognize them, but if you're not financially prepared, you can't take advantage of them. So in 2008, we sat around for about 9 months and 10 months, and then in 2009, we went out and we started buying heavy again. We were buying real heavy, real
Were
heavy.
you back in New York, or where were you buying?
We were buying in New York, but primarily in Central Florida. Uh,
Yeah, because stuff in Central Florida was probably close to free.
Oh my! So condos that are now, and I don't buy real sexy stuff. I don't buy a D class. I'm more like between a C plus and a B minus class property. We were picking those up as low as $18,000, putting 3 grand into them.
Hmm.
At the time, renting them for like 650. Now with the same square footage, same one-bedroom apartments, I can't buy them for less than 130, 140, and the rents are about 12 to 1400.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we went into Detroit. Same thing. I felt like where's bottom, and let's just see where this goes because I could afford to lose a little bit. And they were,
Yes. Yes.
$5,000, and we put 4 to 5 grand, and we put 3,000 into them. We'd be in them eight, and we'd get 650 to 700 bucks a month in rent. Same, very similar as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Now those are, you know, I don't know, 80 to 125,000, and you're getting 1,200. The numbers are very similar. As far as like what it's producing, that was kind of a gut check too. Just being honest with you, like going back and like, is this what, where's everything going? In
Yeah, I got to tell you,
retrospect,
it was scary. I'm not gonna. When I was
I was
buying,
just
it
gonna
was.
say, yep,
I was scared, but after the first year, John, we were up until 2017. We were doing about 195 closings a year.
wow,
Yeah. And now, I mean, last year I was lucky if I did 40, because the numbers
yeah,
just don't make sense right now.
right,
Yeah. So
yeah, I think
that's getting back to what you said. If the numbers don't make sense, don't do it.
right. Well, it's kind of like the truth, like getting back to the truth or comfort. The fact is that, going into the market in 2009, that was not, um, nobody was doing it. There was no
No,
competition. That's why
nobody.
properties were trading for 15,000 or whatever you were paying for them. They were so low because banks were just trying to get rid of that stuff, get it off their balance sheets.
John, we were buying stuff in a place called Point Siena, Florida, which is right next to Kissimmee. We were picking up houses that were sold for $355,000 5 years earlier in short sales, or sometimes foreclosures, REI, and we were picking them up at 60 grand.
Yeah,
And they didn't need much work, painting on the outside, some landscaping. Most of the time the appliances were gone, but in general everything else was there. And we were flipping those at 110, 120. We're making a big killing on them, but we were doing the volume.
right.
Those houses are back up to 350 now.
Yeah, I believe it. I think it's watching what everybody else is doing and do the exact opposite, which
Yes.
could go right back to what's going on today. Like all these people jumping in, doing all this stuff. It's like, I don't know. Like it makes me nervous. It sounds like it makes you a little bit nervous.
Oh, I'm extremely cautious right now.
Yeah, as am
Extremely
I.
cautious.
Like it has to make total sense in it. I need to be in and out as quick as possible.
Not only that,
And multiple
if
exits.
it's something that, whether it's a fix and flip or a long term hold, right now my numbers are 55% of after renovation value. And
Wow.
and everyone says to me, well, you're never going to get anything. I said, well, I'm still picking up very few. I said, but if the market drops 30%, I'm still safe.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't need it, just like you don't, right? You
Right.
don't want to buy a job. You don't want to buy a
Right.
headache. You want to buy an asset producing that's going to produce cash flow. So in the event I don't flip, if I can't flip it, I did my other strategy is the rental side. Or of course I want to be in a side where if I don't want to either do one of those, I could always wholesale it out. I don't
Right.
really do that much, but um, those are the three exit strategies.
I like it. Well, you've been doing this for a long time. You've had a lot of success. Uh, you know, I knew I liked you. I like you even better after this conversation. You're
Thank
very
you.
humble. You're very humble. Like
Oh,
seriously, I
thank you.
think that's incredible. A lot of people I found that are truly successful have that humility. You have that. So
Oh,
yeah,
thank you so much.
yeah. No, it's. I love hearing and seeing and talking to people that are out there doing it, making it happen. Plus, you're out there sharing, and let's touch on that. You're
Yes.
helping people. Could we
Yes.
talk a little bit? Like, talk to me about like your program
So
or
I
you.
I don't really have a program.